Right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Alright. Since the last class, I already set up all the notes and also uh, notes, long notes, slide notes, and also video lecture. If I'm not mistaken, until topic uh, 9. And also, some of your members and classmates already do submission for individual assignment. Even though it's individual assignment, it should consist 2 to 3 members, and some of you also have submitted for group assignment. So I will tell you when is actually I don't want to do live presentation. Like if I'm not mistaken, Alia asking me when is the presentation. I would like you to do like maybe Zoom, record Zoom, and then you can arrange with your friends, and then you can do group presentation, and then upload it in YouTube, and then you just send me link. It's better for the record purpose, so I can upload your link also in YouTube. Okay, and yeah, it's very easy for me to evaluate, okay, in terms of presentation. Okay, so I don't want to do the live. So once you submit your group assignment, then you can start to do your report. Sorry, you already submit your report assignment, right? Okay, so what you have to do is now is doing your YouTube presentation, video presentation. All right, so without further ado, if you ask me what inside the presentation content, it should be content all the content as usual, the introduction, okay, the content inside what you have find out, okay, regarding your assignment. I mean the pie chart analysis, and then the conclusion and recommendations. um I think that's all for that. All right, and then what's more, yeah, I think that one, okay, that I remember for now. So I waiting until next week, because next week is actually week 10 for us. So inshallah, hope I could I will do it's called as a big term test in a week 11, after you settle down everything, and then we left around 1 week more. Okay, so from now, because this is the current week, it's week 9, so we have left around 3 weeks more. Okay, okay. Now is today topic is topic 10, organizational culture and ethical values. Okay, so what is a culture? Okay, as you can see from the slide itself, um, culture is about value, norms, guiding belief, and understandings that are shared by the members of an organization. So we're talking about how the differentiation between one country to the another country, and how we can see each of the country representing their values, norm, and in terms of their belief, okay, their religions, and also their understanding that can be shared around the one of in here they are talking about the organization, but the culture itself is derived from the country. Okay, so each members, okay, when they are sharing inside, like let's say Indonesia country, and the the organization is consisting of various of norms and value, and then is situated, let's say, located in Malaysia. So in terms of the culture in Malaysia, and the organization will be influenced by the environment in Malaysia. So in here we're talking about the organizational culture. So it's taught to the new members as the correct way to think, feel, and behave. So this is about more on how the working and the environments of the organization itself. Okay, working culture or corporate culture of a certain organization. Okay, so organizational culture exists at two levels. Okay, at two levels we see in here. Number one, we have observable symbols, and then the second one, we have underlying value. Okay, we can see from here. As you can see, this is something like what we call this one, ice glacier. Okay, something like iceberg here, right? So above of the top there is called as observable symbols, if you realize, it's something like recap from the previous topic. I had touched this, but for this topic, then it's focusing more on corporate culture. Okay, all right. So level of the corporate culture just now is being highlighted on the two here. Number one, we have observable symbols, and the second one is underlying values. So observable symbols is involving like ceremonies, stories, slogan, behavior, dress, physical settings. Okay, so like ceremonies, 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 uh, ceremonies. Okay, it's something like some event. Let's say you want to contribute or celebrating maybe 10 years the existence of the organization. Okay, it's only one decade, or maybe ceremonies in order to launching certain event. Okay, maybe to represent the company is 100 years okay existing, okay, operating, okay, or maybe we can go like stories, okay, stories of success of the certain organization, okay, how does for example mbank uh, come as the first Bumi Trust Bank in Malaysia, let's say, or how does the slogans, okay, I get examples something like slogans like I'm loving it, McDonald, or maybe just do it, okay, and everyone can fly, let's say. So that is the slogans, and then the behavior. How does the behavior of your employees, okay, towards certain to represent. Okay, let's say if let's say I give example like in government servant, let's say we go with the uniform line employee staff, okay. The reason why they have to behave like very smart of the time, they have to use the uniform, and then they have the dress code to use their uniform, and then they have their own rank. That is observable symbols, okay. And if we say we see army, and army we know, okay, they have the green color uniform, and then if you see like this representing from what we call sorry, I'm so sorry, they say navy with the white dress, okay. So that is representing of their what we call uniform or dress code, and in terms of the physical setting, representing of the workplace itself, okay. If you see like in Twin Tower, they have the Petronas building for those the Petronas staff, okay. So that is some of a symbolic of Petronas, okay, is located in the Twin Tower KLCC building, okay. And for the underlying values, we have the assumptions, okay, in terms of what we perceive, okay, when we see certain of the organization, and let's say I give example again like Petronas, the assumption for those who are selected and hiring or being recruited the Petronas staff, it's been perceived somehow for those who are the best staff or the most excellent staff, okay. Mostly they are derived from what we call their own university. As you know, they have their own university technology, Petronas UTP, right? So they have their own graduates, and then they will recruit. They have some preservable inside that parity to be put into these selected graduates to their own place. And then our belief, of course, will believe that those employees will um, have a very high expectation, okay, and also requirement, because they are not simply like the another requirement as other graduates, okay, from another universities or colleges. And then in terms of the attitudes also will be different, okay. Let's say I take like example like before, right, uniform line, okay, their attitudes might be different from the public people, okay. They have to be take care about their disciplines, okay. Let's say they have breached their discipline, so they will punish. They have to maybe run in 1 round, 2 rounds, okay. Just we have to bring a very heavy and weighty bag, okay, to ensure that they will remember the punishment. So that is their attitudes, okay, and then also the feelings. Okay, when we're representing of our organization, we have some obligation to say that we have to have a good attitudes, and that's why when we're representing the good attitudes, indirectly it have the positive feelings towards that. If we are breaching the certain rules and regulation, and then the feelings will be like, it's not like in a very positive, it will be like negative. We feel like regret to what we are doing, or maybe we are not realize that the things that we have done maybe is wrong and mistake for the eyes of the other people. So this is what we call as the underlying values. Alright, so the emergence and the purpose of the culture. Bagaimana uh, boleh timbul ataupun kewujudan dan mengapa, apakah tujuan budaya tersebut. Okay, so the number one, of course, the purpose of the culture is about to provide sense of the organizational identity, to make sure that people can differentiate between company A, company B, and company C, and how it's able to provide some sense. Okay, sense here meaning to say you have that certain identity, identical. This is Petronas company. This is Amdapi. This is the government servant. Okay, the two critical functions on the in the organization. Number one, to integrate the members so they know how to relate to one another. Okay, by putting into line. Okay, let's say like just now, is symbolic. Okay, like dress code. Dress code can make that one people to the another people is have some relationship. Okay, to integrate the members. Okay, I know you are ranked from here, you are from this batch, you are from this company, so your uniform like this. Okay, so they can have their integrated members. And then the second one, to help the organization adapt to the external environment, to make sure in terms of how they can actually flexible, uh, to make sure how they can cope, okay, with the kinds of the external environment. Somehow when you are only just sitting, or maybe you are just only in that organization, okay, somehow we feel like so comfortable. Okay, when we go to outside, sometimes people will you yourself will feel like uncomfortable due to, okay, this is not our company culture. So how we want to adapt it through it. Okay, that's why we have to learn about the other organization. Okay, organization culture, so to make sure that we can adapt, to cope, and to adapt and adopt. Actually it's two way, okay, with the external environment, especially when we're talking about external environment factors like political, economic, social, technology, ethics, ethics, legal system, and also um ethics and legal system. So um basically this is something like to be highlighted, okay, for each organization, to make sure that their staff and also their employees can be uh, well blend with the another organization. And then the first under internal integration, collective identity, and know how to work together. This is the concept in terms of cooperation, or in Arabic what we call as jama'ah, right? So when we have collective identity, we work together because we feel that the sense that we have, okay, we have that the same sense, okay, so we know how to actually get to it, okay, go and prolong it, not prolong, get work together, okay, together, live together and cooperate. And for the second one, external adaptation, how the organization meets the goal and deal with the outsider. This is the concept on how we have to liaise. Okay, that's why in organization, when the managers, they have to have like liaison officers or license manager, because they are the people who are responsible to deal with the outsider, stakeholders, or maybe like shareholders. Shareholder is internal, external more is on the stakeholders itself. Okay, alright, and this is the things observable aspect of the organizational culture, as I mentioned previously, if you still remember, but they have put into these diagrams. We have some certain under culture, we have rites and ceremonies, we have stories and saying, power relationship, control system, organization structure, and also symbols. Okay, so symbols are symbolic of the company. Okay, you see like McDonald's, they have M alphabet there, like Nike, they have like mark, okay, tick, like that, symbols, right? And like Adidas, they do have like three stages, okay, three stage, okay, and then maybe certain airline, if you see like Malaysia airline system, they do have something like wow, you know wow, something like Nike, layang, tapi it's called wow. Wow is uh, how to say in English? Yeah, is yeah Nike, okay, that we used to play, and then you will play in, you can see like in uh environment inside there, huh? Okay, so this is the thing, okay, that you can see it. Alright, and then so this is the organization chart for the Nordstrom. That's what I said. If you see this slide, is almost like similar in the previous of our topic, but it's just only focusing on the corporate culture. Okay, so in here, they do have directors and executive teams. Okay, and then they have store managers, buyers, and merchandise managers, department managers, sales and sales support people, and then they have customer. So this one is from the bottom to the top. Okay, in principal practice of management subject for those in diploma in IIC. So this is how it's from, if you still remember, it's bottom to the top. Here relationship, and you can see the hand here is supported until uh, the customer. Okay, it's from directors, which is a top management, store managers, buyers, merchandise managers. This is for middle levels. Okay, department managers, middle levels, sales and sales support people. This is low levels, okay, and also the customer, which is us. Alright, so this is under organizational design and culture. Okay, as you can see, the X axis, okay, for X here is strategic focus, and the axis for Y here is the need for the environment. And we do have internal, external, flexibility, and stability. And if you see from the quadrant of the yellow color here, it's about adaptability, creativity, flexibility, and responsiveness. Okay, so this is how the company have to adapt, strategy on how to adapt it. And for the blue color, um, is it blue? Purple. Okay, purple. We do have missions in terms of the performance, competitiveness, and also goal orientations. Um, and then for the clan, we go for the teamwork, friendliness, and consideration. And the last one, we have bureaucratic in terms of the control, the stability, and also the order itself. So this is here, managers want a corporate culture that reinforces the strategy and the structural design. The organization needs to be effective within the environment. So um, this is how it made, right? Right. So alright. So for the culture strength and the organizational subculture, okay, culture strength is the degree of the agreements on the members of the organization about the specific value. So if the certain of the agreement among the members is being stated as agreed to do that, okay, so there will be as imposing as the culture strength. Maybe I can say like culture strength of Japanese organization is teamwork, okay, to do cooperation. They respect their leaders so much, and also the company, they're loyal to the company. So that is their cultural strength. Okay, that is their cultural strength. And for the subculture reflects the common problems, for example, like goals and experience of a team or department. So in terms of how detected a certain of problems and how they can actually experience it together. Okay, maybe I give example. How the way that in the marketing department solving their problems face problems different from the finance or accounting department. So account and finance department, how the way they are solving the problems will be totally different from the marketing department. So in terms of the experience of the team members inside the department, we have the skill to have that problem solving skills. Alright. So in terms of the subculture will be totally different. Even though it's still under maybe let's say Japanese company, okay, organization in a company under Japan country, but in terms of the department, maybe it have a different. Okay, let's say we go like in the manufacturing industry, let's say, the problem that counter in terms of the production line, let's say, production and operations department will be totally different on how they want to solve the problem compared to the marketing department. So there is subculture also, and different department may have their own norms. So that is I'm trying to say just now with the example. Okay, and then the organizational culture, learning and performance, we do have the culture is important to learning and innovation during the challenging times. So strong culture includes constructive adaptation with the following values. For example, number one, we concern for the employees and the customer. Okay. The second one, flexible behavior. And the third one, the encouragement of the risk-taking, change, and improvement. Okay. Okay, maybe we can take one here. Okay. Strong culture includes constructive adaptation with the following value. Number one, concern for the employees and the customer. So when we're talking about concern for the employees and the customer, we are talking about how does the company able to take care of their customer and also employees. Let's say the customer is facing certain problems. Okay, maybe when they are purchasing the product from our company and then the product may be defect, example. So who is actually the person in charge in order for the customer complaints? So of course it's go with the customer service, okay? Or we can say like uh, yeah, customer service, right? And then for the employees itself, they say the concern about employees. Of course, mostly, let's say the employees is not feeling well to go to work, so they have to get some MC. So to whom they will refer in order to tell and inform when the status is MC. So number one, of course, their superior, and the second one, of course, the human resource department. So that is what we call as the constructive adaptation. Okay, if you see the word constructive is being bolded there, right? And the second one in terms of the flexible behavior. Okay, so when we're talking about the flexible behavior, how such behavior in the same organization can be flexible to all departments, let's say. Okay, I give a very simple example like in company like Dell or maybe Lenovo company, they have a very huge, they are very popular with the high work diversity workforce, So they have multi, not only just racial, but they have a different diversity from different country or working in the same organization. So maybe in how the way that the company is work, okay, in their country will be totally different. So how you want to react? For example, we're talking about simple thing like in terms of cooperation. Some people, for them, cooperation is defined as everybody have to give some their output, okay, input and output, okay, to make sure that the success of certain, let's say, project. But somehow some people say every single people, if they have some one man show people who are responsible for the things, so we just support it. So it's also called as cooperation. So in terms of the flexible behavior, we cannot take for granted, okay, because one man show is showing best here, so everybody can take for granted for it. Okay, so in here, flexible behavior, looking into how you can give you as a role, you yourself, to the company itself. Okay, and the third one, encouragement of the risk taking. Okay, in terms of how whether you are the person who are high risk taker or low risk taker, or in terms of the change. Okay, how you can change it. Okay, in terms of some improvement. Okay, I believe that in the company and organization, we do need change management. Okay, we need some improvement. Okay, because that we call in Islam, okay, or in Arabic word we call as ikon, okay. econ is the process whereby you have to meet some benchmark. Benchmark. Okay, so when you do some improvement, of course you have to meet a certain benchmark on that. Okay, so that's what we need, improvement. And this is the constructive versus non-constructive culture. Um, okay, you see at the left side here we have constructive culture. Okay, constructive culture in here is referring to um, in terms of the managers pay close attention to all constituencies and initiate change when needed to serve the broader interest even when it means taking risks. The managers face, okay, by taking the risk, and at the same time they know when is the right time in order to do the changes. And underlying values, managers are care deeply about their all stakeholders, strongly value people and processes that create useful change. Okay, so when we talking about care deeply, so meaning to say you are putting yourself in your own shoes. So this is how the factors in order to boost, okay, in terms of their motivation take the risk itself, number one, and also to make sure that they have some uh, value, okay, value, they strongly value people, so you appreciate and care about your people when you ask them to do the job, so you appreciate their effort on that, okay. And for the observable behavior, for the non-constructive culture, the managers tend to be somewhat isolated and bureaucratic. So they are comfortable with the status quo and do not take risks to adjust or to take advantage of shift in the environment. So for the non-constructive culture, they are mostly more on independent leader or managers. Okay, so they not are the person who are looking into other people's shoes to their shoes. So they don't care, they don't bother after all because they are isolated and bureaucratic. So in here, mainly what to say that they are the one who are, do not want to take any risk. For them to take risk is quite competitive to them. Mengambil risiko tu sangat berbahaya pada mereka, okay. And in other way around, they're comfortable with the status quo. Status quo ni, they don't do anything. They just keep silent. Okay, if anything happen, they don't take any action. That is the way of status quo. And then underlying values, managers are care mainly about themselves. That's why I see just now they are more independent and they are only think about themselves. Can I say selfish? Somehow, okay? And their immediate work group or some product associated with that group value the familiar management process more than change initiative. So they are more rigid person, okay? So they are more like we are stick to the original plan, don't need to do changes, even though maybe it quite take risk, but they will be more uncomfortable with familiar with the old style. So non-constructive culture, they don't want to do changes. In other way around, to make a short word. For constructive culture, they try to improvise. Okay, from day to day, time to time, from month to month, year to year, there must be have to changes. So if you ask me, okay, who is the kinds of the constructive culture managers, who is the non-constructive culture managers? So constructive culture managers mostly is come from like in the generation Y and Z, and for the non-constructive culture mostly is come from managers from baby boomers generation or will go with the X generation. So because they are deeply and rigid. They are more on traditional way. They're comfortable with that compared with the one who are not the one to do some changes. Okay, all right. So we're moving to the next slide. Okay, okay. In terms of the ethical values and social responsibility. Okay, for the ethics, what is ethics? Okay, in the short word, what is the right and wrong? And right and wrong of the things that you do every day is derived from the religion itself, what you believe. Okay, because I have to take into consideration somehow some people they don't have religion, so they are atheists. So for them, they believe that what they do is right even though it's wrong. Why we can say wrong? Because we are derived from our influence of our religions. Okay, so ethics is the code of the moral principle and the values that govern the behavior of the person or the group with respect to what is right or wrong. Alright, so this is about ethics. Okay, some people, when you give some gift, is called good things. It's giving gift, good things. It's the right things to do. And somehow when people derive, like say, giving gift in order to influence some decision making to be made. For example, the gift is counted as something like corruptions, okay, bribe. So that one is considered as wrong. But in another culture, work culture or organization culture, is perceived as good. It's nothing wrong, it's a good thing. So that's why ethics is derived on how you think about it, whether it's come from the religion perspective itself, and whether also how you believe itself. And for the managerial ethics, ethics decision go beyond behavior governed by the law. So this is in terms of the law itself. Okay, how is whether it's breaching the law or it's still under the law or is sitting going with the good, I mean like align with the law. And managerial ethics guide the decision and behaviors of the managers. So of course, in terms of maybe you can in certain of the management issue, for example, like let's say you do what we call whistleblowing. Okay, is it the right things to do? Or maybe you are involved in money laundering. Is it things the right things to do? So those the managerial ethics will be uh, guide whether this code of ethics is right or wrong. Okay, and in terms of the ethical dilemma, a situation concerning right and wrong in which values are in conflict. What's mean dilemma? You are in the middle, whether you are doing the right things or you are doing the good things. Sorry, you are doing the right things or the wrong things, right? So dilemma will make somehow the people feel tense when they cannot make the right decision for certain of the situations of a certain condition or any kind that needs to do the right decision, because human is not perfect. Okay, if you maybe realize that people might say I'm perfectionist, you are not even perfect after all. Your creatures is perfect by our creator, but you are not 100% perfect. You get me? So this is the thing that somehow even we think that the decision that we made have been right, but after all somehow in other perspective it will be totally wrong, minor and slightly will be wrong. Trust me on that. Okay, because if you assuming that you are perfectionist and then all of a sudden you make a wrong decision, you will blame yourself. Okay, when you blaming yourself, after all you will keep and regret, and then after all you will not even get the decision on that. We have to go experience with the wrong decision too somehow, because we are not perfect, right? Okay, and then for the corporate social responsibility, CSR, management obligation to make choices and take action so that the organization contributes to the welfare and interests of the whole organizational stakeholders, employees, customers, shareholder, the community, and the broader society. So when the word CSR, I think that you also have took some subject. They call CSR, right? Okay. So this is about how you can balancing, okay, between your profit and also your uh, responsibility to the public. How the public mirror you as a good company. So this is what we call CSR. So basically when we're talking about welfare interest, this is the thing that known to the public, so how you can contribute to them. So that's why they used to say maybe giving some contribution or donation to the orphanage house, old folks house, or maybe they give to the elders care houses, or maybe they do some campaign, okay, maybe for example support like local products, okay, or maybe they do something like contributing to the green business, okay, do not use plastic, go for the recycle, 3 R's, okay, and then reuse, reduce, recycle, right? So those things is involving the CSR. Not only just stop at that, maybe certain company they also do some contribution by allocate certain like portion to those who are from the publics, from the needy family who want to further study, so they can actually offering some of uh, financial okay aid, okay, financial aid or financial instrument to those like what we call scholarship, okay, and maybe they have some foundation, okay, for those who are need for the medical help, okay, and also safety. So this is the thing that involving, okay, the corporate social responsibility. And when we're talking about the sustainability is about environmental effort woven into all the decision. So that's why mostly we can say corporate social responsibility and sustainability. Example, I used to put just now no plastic bags, or maybe use all the environment or recycle things. Okay, example, you can use what we call uh, plastik apa tu dinamakan sebagai um, forget. I'm sorry, I forget. There is one term of you can use recycle, not plastic bag, but woven bag. Okay, woven bag, or like non-biodegradable bag. And then you can use also like if I'm not mistaken, certain like fast food right now, certain like uh, uh, fast fast food, yeah, restaurant like McDonald's, they don't even have like straw, but they use okay, sometimes what they did was they're not offering any plastic bag, but they sell like a woven bag or non-biodegradable bag. Or maybe also what the company did was like um, using recycle paper cup, not paper cup, but they use like plastic, but you can be recycled, just bring the cup. This is done by Starbucks. um, and also if I'm like boba drinks also doing like this right now, so you just bring that plastic cup, okay, and then um, it's like Tupperware, right? Tupperware cup, and then you just bring it and they will refill it to you, and they're selling at the same time. So uh, compared to use plastic bag, they change into the paper bag. So this is environmental effort, okay. And also they provide like the three color dustbin, chocolate color, green color, and orange color, okay. So um, they used to it, okay. Alright, and the relationship between the rule of law and ethical standard. So if you realize they have a red color here and also the yellow color, so we do have the legal requirement and also ethical standard, and in the middle we do have the orange color, okay. So the orange color in here meaning to say they have subset, subset. So inside the legal requirement, they're going to have the ethical standard, and inside the ethical standard, they do have the legal requirement. So this is how it's symbolic between these two have a subset between both, okay, both of law and also ethical standard. Okay, so corporate social responsibility, does it pay to be good? Okay, adakah uh, sesuatu yang dibuat itu adalah baik. Okay, do CSR is good. Okay, so number one, okay, does it pay to be good? Number one, extension of the idea of the managerial ethics. So that's just now we're discussing on whether is the right decision is a good or wrong decision, right and wrong. So it's about ethics, right? So CSR is derived from this managerial ethics. So when you involve in CSR indirectly, you mirroring, okay, something like a good code, good of conduct, ethics, okay, zahirkan sesuatu perbuatan yang baik di mata masyarakat, in the public, in the eyes of the public. And the second one, increase in social responsibility. So you have sense of like legally and responsibility towards your to public. Okay, meaning to say indirectly you have like some sense. Okay, what we call mostly we're talking about common sense, right? The common sense that we have to help the needy. Okay, that's why it's increase in the social responsibility. And the third one, customers and the publics are paying closer attention to what organization do. I told you before, because what we did as the organization actually is give some mirror to the public. So when the public see that the good company can able to give good to the doing good to the public, doing good to the customer, indirectly they have some positive image towards the company. And the fourth one, social responsibility can enhance the firm's reputation. This is goes with the public relation itself. So indirectly, when we're talking about reputation and reform, okay, indirectly the social responsibility can create something like identical to the public's eye that this company can get some. This company is really use how to say that really important in this current situation. Okay, if you realize during the COVID-19, how many of the NGOs company, even the public company, private company come into hand. Okay, they are go together and they contribute to what the things they can help. If they cannot maybe help in terms of the monetary aspect, they can help in terms of doing like PPE, personal protective equipment, okay, by having something like mask. And I realize some certain of the famous fashion designer also contribute to the nations by having doing certain that they can help, okay, create some like mask or maybe certain of which is yeah, PPE equipment in order to help those for the frontliner to combat this COVID-19. So yeah, this is the thing that uniting, so everybody take part in order to together in order to combat this COVID-19. And then the last one, companies measure non-financial factor that create value. So in terms of how they measure non-financial factor, in terms of just now, not only just goes to the monetary, but in terms of the something like physical effort, okay, and other way around, okay, which is not just contribute directly to the financial itself, but non-financial. Even the product itself, what they need in order to make the PPE resources, all of course they need a money, but indirectly in terms of how they can contribute their effort to the public. Okay, now we goes to the next one. How the managers shape the culture and ethics. So number one, in terms of the value-based leadership. Okay, so uh, yeah, people say right, walk to the top, and I heard certain of the acronym right now. Not only walk to the top, but walk to the walk. So meaning to say, walk to the top, you are only just talking about uh, doing at the same time whatever you have, give your direction towards that. What you lead, sorry, what you say, what your command will be lead together with your attitudes. That is walk to the talk to the walk. Okay, so and walk to the walk meaning to say you have to make sure that what you did, okay, together and align with what you implement. So what you teach those people, okay, you have to implement it. So that is walk to the walk. So that is the value based on leadership. So people respect you based on how your leadership style. So if you are just saying it, command it, but you are not even implement it, people will not have respect towards you. Okay. And the second one, the formal structure and system, we're talking about structure. Okay, so when we're talking about the structure itself, we're talking about how the command system, how the process of the organization chart system, because we want to give some command, we want to give some instruction, we want to give some instruction. We have to make sure it's followed in terms of the formal structure. So people will ask back to you, who are you to ask me to do this, right? So that's why in terms of how we want to implement this culture and ethics, it start from the hero. The hero is the leader. Okay, so the second one, disclosure mechanism, meaning to say This mechanism and system have to be transparent to make sure everybody is win-win situation and do it. Not only just one person. This have to be followed. There have to be a leader. There will be have the follower. And the third one, we're talking about the codes of ethics. We are talking about how you do it. Okay, how you make into certain of the rules. Okay, to make sure that the rules have to be followed. So that is the code of ethics. So the code of ethics have to be known to everybody, have to be aware by everybody. Not saying I do not know about this. The first new workers, staff, employees who are being selected to the organization, this is the things that have to be highlighted in their what we call offer letter, code of ethics. Okay, whether the things that you have to, this is the good code of conduct or the wrong code of conduct. This is breaching the code of ethics or whether it's the right for the code of ethics, because every single company in terms of code of ethics will be different. Different company, different way, different country, different way. So that's why you cannot just saying that every single company will have the same of the code of conduct of ethics. And also training programs. This is very important because from the training we know what the things that we lack. Daripada kursus yang kita hadir, kita tahu apa yang kita kurang. Training is not to actually to the place for you to enjoy. Okay, training is the place to improvise. Okay, training is the place in order to enhance what you are lacking before. That is training. So training program is meaning to say to know which area that you have to shaping it, to prove yourself. Okay, and the last one, managers play key role in providing leadership and example of the ethical behavior. Just now I mentioned about the acronym, right? Walk to the talk, walk to the walk. So this is talking about the example of ethical behavior is derived from the good leader. Good leader meaning a good image and reputation. So when a good leader show a good image, you will get a good follower. But this is the fact itself. The reality may be different. But when you are being in a good environment, together we influence people to do a good things, a good deeds. When you are in the wrong environment, we will be doing wrong things too, because no one will consult on that. No one will say that is wrong things to do. So that's why when you are in the cycle system, support system, which is all the good people inside there, you will be a good too. Are you get me? It's simple thing. If you still remember, I don't remember the what verse is said, but it been stated like you are maybe friend with those who are selling perfume, right? You also will have a good smell. But when you are friend with those who are what we call making sword, okay, membuat pedang, okay, you yourself will be smell like uh, bau like not a good smell to yourself. Meaning to say what surrounded you is mirroring who you are. Okay, so this is the things. Okay, we're talking about culture and ethics. So managers ranking of the ethical values by generation. So I told you just now, right? We're talking about the value of baby boomers managers ranking by generation X managers. But in here they are not stated about Z. Okay, because right now mostly generation Z, they have their own company. Because why? Generation Z is not a follower. Generation Z is keep asking why. So they want to own their own company. Okay, so that's why they have to have their own decision. They can make their own. Okay, so okay, what is in here? Okay, under the value we have ambition, broad-minded, courageous, and also equality and also independent. So ranking by the baby boomers managers, mostly they are on the 15. If you see 15 is goes to broad-minded and also equality. So for those in the ranking by generation X managers, they are majority in the independent. Okay, and for the ranking by generation Y managers, mostly they are courageous. Okay, courageous. So uh, different generation will be different in terms of their ethical values. Okay, so I believe if we have that generation Z, totally also they will have a different. But maybe it's we go with the like ambition just now and broad-minded. Maybe this is my opinion. Okay, alright. So, this is the characteristic of the value-based leader. We have interpersonal behavior, personal action and expectation, fairness with others, and also organizational leadership. Okay, maybe we can take some of the explanation from these 4 points. Okay, interpersonal behavior, treat people with care. So you put you yourself into other people's shoes. So be helpful and kind. So this is how interpersonal behavior. So you have to get a good, maintain positive relationship, and at the same time, fairness with others. Treat everybody equitability. This is not your chronism. Okay, this is not your man. This is not your people. So you have to treat people equally. No need to just differentiate and discriminate them according to races. No need to discriminate them according to religion. No need to discriminate them towards their skins, okay, and physical, maybe like gender, okay. And the third one, personal action and expectation. Hold self to high ethical standards. Strive for honesty, humility, and integrity, and accept responsibility for ethical failings. So, uh, if you are not meet a certain requirement for the ethical standards, you have to do some punishment and penalty towards that. So that is the third one meaning say here. Accept responsibility. What you did, you get back. Like that. Okay, and the fourth one, organizational leadership, articulate and communicate ethical vision. Keep reminding, because human being, we are in the kind of people who are always forgetful. Kita orang yang senang lupa. So we have to remind, there will be a reminder. So while we communicate ethical vision, we keep remind them, maybe through the town hall, or maybe you have certain meeting, you have to start with that. Okay, what is the mission of the company, let's say, uh, and we have to remember that we are being uh, watched, okay, by the God. So that is about like ethical value, and hold people accountable, meaning to say you have to make sure that your people is the one who are responsible to what they did, and that is how you give some sense of responsibility. Okay, and the last one, put ethics above the short-term interest. So you have to train your people to be like someone who are not being bluntly with money or bluntly with a gift. So they're not easy going to be attracted to those who are just only for dunya factor. So you have to be some like good ethic first. But when come to the reality right now in out there, okay, there is many. When come to money, there will become a weak, right? So I also say it to you in here because I remind myself too. Okay, and we move to the next one. What happened to the slide? Okay, corporate culture and ethics in the global environment. Okay, the first one, the global environment presents tough ethical challenges. Okay, yeah, it's true. Okay, I truly agree with this statement. A global supply chain is the area of the growing ethical concern. Yeah, and the countries have the varied attitude and belief. If we have thousands of the countries, we have thousands of the attitudes and belief too. And the components that characterize a global culture, multicultural rather than national values, and it's basing the status on the merit rather than nationality. So, mm, yeah. So when we're talking about the multicultural rather than national value, mostly they are very, sorry, they're always like interference and technical problem with my mic here. Huh? Okay, and then some companies work closely with the overseas factory to improve their working condition. Um, the reason why I believe in terms of the logistic problem itself. So that's why the companies have to work closely with the overseas factory to make sure that the process, operation, and production is smooth. If not, they will have in terms of the condition, working condition will be have difficulties. Alright, and then we're moving to the next one. Okay, okay. The design essential. Okay, what is the things that we learn from this topic? Okay, number one, the cultural and ethical value helps determine the organization's social capital and can contribute to the success. Bear in mind when the company to have these kinds of ethical values and culture. Actually, it giving some identical image, okay, that this organization is the success organization. And the second one, managers can use rights and ceremonies, stories, symbols, structures, control system, and power relationship to influence the culture. Yeah, it's true because through this they can say that okay, different culture, kind of different work culture will have a different in terms of the organization success. And subculture may emerge even in the strong culture. And the strong culture can be constructive or non-constructive. So I believe that in here it depends also to the generation itself, and also constructive or non-constructive, it relates to whether you are in what kind of industry of company you are. So if the organization in the kinds of the public, okay, public or the government base, so maybe in terms of how the area to be goes and work culture, corporate culture will be different. But if they say you are a private sector or maybe you are NGOs, okay, will be have a different life in terms of the constructive and also non-constructive. In terms of the managerial ethics and the corporate responsibility are important aspect of the organization. Okay, and I'm so sorry they keep having trouble here. Maybe I should not moving. Okay, and the last one, global companies face challenges in establishing strong cultural and also ethical value. So, uh, yeah, um, how we want to face it? Okay, we have to have a very strong identity on this in terms of the cultural and also the ethical value itself. So, thank you for listening to my uh, lecture today, even though not as before or not as 100% giving like yeah explanation on that. So by the way, please at the same time keep because I've been told by my suppliers, my students from this subject keep buying the textbooks. Okay, so I want you to use it and keep read it because some not everything in the books that I can explain inside my video lecture. So by having this as your assistant, so I hope that you can have your thorough research and thorough readings. Okay, and any question just shoot in our official group WhatsApp. Okay, and thank you for listening to my video lecture. For those who are not subscribed yet, my channel Noorsyalina Nordin, just subscribe it and yeah, thank you. Keep yourself safety and help. Kita jaga kita. We are not ready yet. Okay. Keep social distancing. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and take care. Bye.